Scrum. Sam and Brent are here. Whee! Brent, how are things going with you?
Yeah, I'm slowly but surely working through the homework 5 of the Agile development MOOC. Yeah, I'm getting there. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Heavy going.
it's not heavy going. It's just
No.
I just find the instructions are very vague, and
Mm.
that's part of what it's all about. But
Yes.
you find yourself second guessing you, and this whole thing of doing one of the cucumber tests, then trying to fall down to the R spec.
Right.
I'm trying to do that, but I'm finding it very difficult. But I'll persevere.
Yes. Yes. Good job. We'll look at that in more detail on Friday. Excellent. Anything else going on? Anything blocking you? Any other plans?
No, I've got the R spec mob today at 1.
Right.
And yeah, and then I've got some meetings this afternoon. So with those and doing some more of this homework 5, that'll be my day, I think.
All right. Good show. Thank you, Brent. Will is also hello. Will, how are things going with you?
Hey, I feel like I'm stuck with my project. Why?
Yeah.
I think it's in the design stage. It's not a technical thing. It's just I'm not really sure how to do the post-payment part to it so that you can prove your identity. But yeah, so I'm not really sure. It might be worth having a conversation about it at some point.
Yeah.
But I think what I'll do first is talk to somebody who I know is a seller,
right,
so that they can give their perspective on things. I just feel like I'm not able to approach things from the right perspective. That's my real feeling with it. I don't feel like I'm making progress. I'm going around in circles with it. So yeah, I think having another perspective on things probably would help.
Absolutely.
Other than that, I'm going to have a look at the just have a quick dry run, I guess, of the Ethereum mob for tomorrow. I'll just have a look at the project again, because I'm not dead sure that it's a perfect example of a good use for a smart contract. But I'm going to check that out. So if it's not, I have a backup idea anyway.
Cool.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, well, I guess I am blocked a bit, but I have a plan.
Yes. Yes. Interesting. And the thing I was going to say there, well, I think you're absolutely right that getting another perspective will be helpful. One thing that we also try and do in Agile Ventures that I think is often helpful is having written user stories. And kind of, I don't remember, did we do that for your project? Did we kind of divide out who are the stakeholders, write user stories for each of them, and so on and so forth?
Yeah. Are you asking if we have done it or if we should?
I was asking if we had done it already, or if we haven't, and maybe that's another exercise that might be helpful.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't done it, but I guess I do. I haven't done it. I haven't written them down, so that's a thing. Yeah, and then made them available.
And I think even if one doesn't make them available, I mean, of course, we're all about making things available. But yes, I think I often find that, or at least how I used to do things a lot, was I'd be holding all of these things in my head, and it would work for a while, and then the cognitive load would reach a certain point, and then I kind of go, and finding a way to get that out can be helpful. Anyway, maybe we can talk more at the end of the Scrum or on another occasion. Very interested to explore that further. I noticed Nick is up in the middle of the morning or late. Is very early for you, Nick. Not used to being here at this time.
Early.
Welcome.
Usually asleep.
How are things going with you?
Good. I'm trying to get this Twitter feed to work.
Right.
But I'm having a bit of trouble. I'm including a module and trying to run the method for it in it, but it's giving me a nil class error. So I don't know. I run it in the interactive Ruby and it works fine. But as soon as I put it into the app, it's not giving me a nil class error for an array.
That sounds like a nasty block, which maybe we can help you with at the end of the Scrum. Yes, and this is in the local support project, and we'll of course be pairing later on today. But I'm sure you'll be excited if we can unblock you here. Yeah. Anything else on your mind at the moment?
That's it.
No, if not, let's go on to myself. By the way, we've got 2 viewers at the moment. That's a really, we've doubled our usual viewership. And usually it's 0. We have an infinitely large increase. It's almost like we're a Bitcoin or something. No, sorry. Viewers, if you want to find out more about Agile Ventures, go to agileventures.org and you can join up, and maybe you have already. But join up, get access to our Slack, and find out more about how these scrums work. Finishing up with an update from myself. I've continued to work through our premium members API, clearing up the data in our database and trying to make it accurately reflect like the state of the world. Slow and steady progress there. I've also built a bit more of my shed. That's, I guess it's actually quite nice to have I spend 15 minutes outside hammering and then come back and do the coding. It's nice balance there. I've turned on the Depender bot on local support for Nicola, and I have also been working on, this is Ben's pull request on website 1, and pushed up some tweaks and just pulled that in. And that actually there has got quite a nice example of dropping from Cucumber to RSpec, which maybe I won't show you now, Brent, but it's something we can look at for reference on Friday or in another less busy Scrum. I've got pairing with Aaron, website 1 coming up top of the hour. A few more hours pairing with Nick on local support. He has a nice busy pairing day. Not otherwise blocked. It's a Tuesday. Yeah, there we go. That's my update. We've done our Scrum. Nick, you seem the most blocked out of us. Do you want to just show us your code and share your screen and show us that error that you're getting? Given that you've got it occurring in the in the app, but not in the when you just do it on the command line, that I feel like my brain can get purchase on that.
Right.
So this is, you've got here some code. So,
yeah. So this is, sorry. This is the error that I'm getting in the app here.
Right. Yes. And so do you want to just show us from the command line what you do and how it works from the command line?
Yeah.
Hey, Michael. So Nick is just showing us, he's able to get this. So Twitter text is a gem here. And this is, that's parse tweet tests. So is there more that you've got to work on the command line, or that's what you've been able to do so far?
That's what I need to happen, and that's not happening.
Okay.
So
fair enough. So just stay there with me for a second while I wrap my brain around here. When this is doing parse tweet test, is that kind of like preparing a tweet to be ready to be sent out? Is that the kind of thing it's doing?
No. What this is so this is, I think this is put together for Twitter, this gem Twitter text, and what it's doing is that, so Twitter, they count characters differently. And they've just increased their text range too from 140 to 280.
Right.
And so they say you shouldn't hard code any of this data in, and so this Twitter text gem will give you like a display range of, these are the valid characters, and if you have any URLs, it will take that into account, because all the URLs have a default. Yeah, they're minified. So then you can.
Yep.
So this is the data that you need in order to.
Right. So this is a pre-processing step that you have to do before you can tweet. No, fair enough. And so that with now that Twitter text and Twitter validation. Now, do you have any environment variables set in the background there that are allowing this to work, or Twitter text is just supposed to work out of the box?
I think it's supposed to work out of the box. I don't have any variables set up for that.
And then do you want to show us the code for like where you're doing the parse tweet in the actual local support code itself?
Yeah,
okay, there. So that's line 20 on that post to, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
line 20.
And so you've got like, what I would do there is maybe on line 9, between 19 and 20, it just create an extra line between 19 and 20 and type bybug in there, BYEBUG.
Okay.
And now just come back to one of the try and run just one of the tests that's causing the problem. So you've got 2 tests that you're running. So you could copy and paste from above there. You do like bundle exec, but yeah, so there, and add like line 14. So if you put without any spaces at the end of the Twitter API spec, if you put colon and then 1.4, it will run precisely the test that's on line 14. And when we're using the debugger, it's much easier if we're using a single test. So then we get so if we just type the word tweet there, and we can see presumably that should just be like a message that we're testing there. Okay, and then so if we do parse underscore tweet, so just type in like on line, as if we were on line 21. Let's actually execute it for ourselves and do parse underscore tweet, and then tweet. And just sort of within the debugger here, we can kind of, given that we're in the precise context of this, we can kind of see what happens. Interesting. Now, and I wonder I wonder if it's related to the URL. So if you take, what I would do there is I would copy and paste that entire, like test tweet for HTTPS. I copy and paste the entire string.
Okay.
I don't know if you've done this already. Just copy that and then go in a different. So no, rather than here, what I would do now is open a new terminal. I don't know if you were doing IB. If you do like Command T, you'll get a new terminal in the new. You can just type IRB there, and yeah, do the like. Was it so? It's require Twitter text. So you probably need to navigate into. If you've done Command T, at least if you're in terminal, it opens a separate tab in the same. So I would just, it would probably be faster. Just close this terminal that you're in. Yeah. Go back to this terminal. Hit Command. I'm assuming you're on a Mac. Hit Command T.
Command T.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that will. It should. Oh, is it? Maybe, depending on your bash file, you need to navigate to the directory that's got the local support in. Yeah, and then so if you do, yeah, IRB. I guess it should work, or you do bundle exec IRB, but yeah. So yeah, we've got the Twitter text. So include the Twitter validation. So now if we do parse text and we then copy and paste that string that it was actually breaking on in the test. We've got double quotes there on either end, but that's interesting.
Oh, I did
you pass test instead of pass tweet.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. Okay, yeah, so that totally works there. Interesting. So let's go back to the code that's then having the problem.
Okay.
So I guess we've got the Twitter text gem is included in the gem file, I presume.
Yeah.
I mean, we just go and. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, but should we just go and check that in the gem file? So we've got Twitter text there. Okay. So and the gem file.lock is presumably locking us to some particular version of that. Should we just go and check what version it's locked to?
Okay.
Okay, so it's locked to 2.02. Okay, let's go back to the code that's causing the problem. Right. So we presumably don't need the required Twitter text. I mean, that's I mean, as looking at that, that seems to be the only difference at the moment that I could see, is that from the IRB we're doing require Twitter text.
Yeah, I've tried that.
Yeah,
and it doesn't work.
and it doesn't make any difference there. Yes, that's very strange. I mean, so the things that are on my mind here about this is when we're running IRB, we're not running bundle exec IRB. So I would this is kind of like a small chance, but there's a small chance that you've got more than one Twitter text gem installed locally, and so conceivably from the IRB, it could be running a slightly different version of the gem. I think that's unlikely, but it's worth ruling out. You know, just going back to the IRB, and what you could do if you go back to that terminal where you're in IRB.
Oh. Okay.
If you go back to that terminal where you're in IRB, you could just crash out, Control D out of that.
Control D.
Yeah, and do like gem list Twitter -text. I think gem list is 2 words rather than 1.
Say it again.
Gem and then space and then list. And then Twitter. I guess we might actually pipe this into, I think you might need to do the pipe symbol, the Unix pipe symbol, and then do grep, G-R-E-P, and then the word Twitter, and just hit return. And let's see, it should see us. Yeah, so that looks like you've only got one, you know, there's only one gem installed. So even if we did run bundle exec, I wouldn't imagine that to be make any difference. So there, that seems really quite bizarre that would be failing in that context, unless the versions of Twitter that it's somehow depending upon. I guess I would be tempted to do bundle exec space IRB to force the IRB to be using the same. So if you hit up there, do you not, rather than retyping, can you hit up and get the previous things? Maybe not. Hit the up arrow doesn't give you those. No, all right, fair enough. So I would do the thing again there, just to be sure, because this should now be, as well as the Twitter text, like conceivably, I see you've got 2 different Twitter gems installed, and there's the outside chance that you know, it might be using a different gem in the environment. Yeah, so yeah, does it include the Twitter validation again? And then yeah, parse tweet. But yeah, I would do it specifically for the string. Like I would copy the line above, copy and paste parse test, parse tweet, test tweet for, not that one, because it's parse test. You want parse tweet, don't you? Like 3, 4.
Oh, right.
And if that works, that's a very bizarre error. I would be going back now to the code, or the out, sorry, not the code, the output of the running tests, the tests that ran, and they showed you that. Let's see that error message again.
Okay.
We're in here. Yeah, here. So the error message is it's undefined for nil class. What we could actually do, since we've got the debugger, is we could step into parse tweet there. So you could type an S there, and that will step into the parse tweet code. And then we could so we're now inside the code, inside this Twitter text. So we could now just hit N, and we can sort of maybe see where the error occurs. So that seems like so keep on, so a couple more times. So have you used a debugger before, by the way?
Once before.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's sure, and so no problem at all. It may or may not be clear what's happening here. That you can see the sort of arrow pointing to the line number.
Right.
That's basically showing us how we're moving through the code, and we're sort of stepping through it one bit at a time. Yeah. So you could keep on doing ends here to step, and I wonder if that's the exception happening there. Anyway, carry on. I would say, yeah, looks like that's that looked like where like scale equals config scale. That was the point when it tried to do config.scale, and then it basically dropped into that's where the exception has taken place.
Yeah.
Something about, I mean, there does seem to be this like set of options. I wonder if you see there, like on line 34, it says config equals options config Twitter configuration default configuration. I wonder if there's something about the Twitter configuration that we have set up with the what's it called, with the local support app, where it's got something in that its Twitter default configuration that is a nil, whereas we're seeing like there's maybe when we run it in IRB, it's just working with the default Twitter configuration that hasn't been adjusted. So we could keep diving in there. What I'd be tempted to do is go straight to the Twitter text repo of the gem and see if anybody else has encountered this same problem.
Yeah.
So what was this? You were getting like an undefined. What was the precise error message again?
Defined method for nil class.
So it was. Come on, so you've got undefined. Oh, undefined method, and it's the square brackets. So undefined. Go on.
One thing I would want to show is that. Let's see. I was trying to just instantiate the class as an object and then running it, and I was getting this error saying it was an well, that didn't. Oh, never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so just in the background there, I'm jumping through and looking at the. I'm not seeing anybody else, even in the closed issues, reporting that, or there doesn't seem to be anything that's quite related. So I think there, it seems like the Twitter. It's probably the Twitter configuration that we have in local support is doing something weird there. I noticed in the test file that you were looking at.
So maybe it's these params here when it gets initialized, or
or those configs. I mean, the thing that so what's annoying there about the debug thing is, having encountered the error on line 41 there, is we're now past that point and we now can't like retrospectively go and investigate it's basically when it's trying to do config.scale there. So what we could do is we could rerun the debugger and get back to the same point, and then instead of jumping over config.scale, we could step into config.scale. I mean, the other thing that I would do before we do that is just go and look at the text file of the code associated with local support there, where in the top of that file I see we are setting some Twitter variables, not this code, the code for local support.
Right. Sorry.
So here, like in client there for Twitter, we're setting config.consumer key, consumer secret, all this, that, and the other. So we could go into the debugger. We could. Another thing to try would be commenting out lines 6 to 11. But do you want to rerun the debugger again, because that'll probably give us more exciting information?
Yeah, sure. If you still have more time.
Yeah, probably 5 minutes before I need to go. So if you do Control-C there, I would I mean, now it's just going to kind of like go through and give errors. So or Control-C a couple of times. Yeah. So hit run again, or just hit up and run exactly that test.
Hello.
Hey, Michael.
I guess the scrum is over.
Yeah. You joined after we'd finished the scrum. Did you have anything to report?
Yeah, I was working on fixing up that pull request we did.
Oh yeah, for the the requiring login.
Yeah.
Oh cool. Yeah. Are you blocked there at all?
A little bit. I have to deal with basically dealing with sign-in paths and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really interested to hear more about that. Although we're kind of in the middle of helping Nicola, so I think we're maybe just at the final bit here. So what you might do there actually is you might just it'd be interesting there. Why don't you type, Nicola, to Nick, sorry, do options and square brackets colon config. And so that's nil. And so it should be then be doing it. So in this context, it's now grabbing the Twitter configuration default. So you could, I would like copy Twitter configuration default configuration and just have it, or you could just do next and then see what the config is. Just hit N.
Do next.
Just do N and it will step over one line. And then presumably, since options config is nil, then presumably now if you type config, we can see the contents of the config.
Okay. Right there.
Yep, exactly that. Yeah. And so presumably what it is that there's something about this, like when we try to call scale on this, you know, it's, I mean, so yeah, anyway, if you hit N again, just so let's N on until we get just before the point of going to config.scale. So I think there's maybe two more ends, one more end against past that there. And now do S to step into the scale method. Ooh. Fail, block not allowed, error, new, if block, memorize cache thing, inside a create memory. So I would just try N here. There's obviously some meta programming going on. Yeah, N again. Let's do N, and then okay. So something like this memorize cache method is causing the problem. I mean, I think we've got, you know, a good chunk of data here that we could open an issue on the Twitter text GitHub repo and describe the error that we're encountering and where we're, like, from the debugger, like where we're seeing the problem happening in the code.
Okay.
And I would be very, very strongly tempted to do that and get that issue open and to document where we are, kind of get that out of our brain so we've got a record of it in case we get called away or what have you. And then the thing I would be tempted to do, having pushed that off, would be to play with those Twitter config settings in the test that's failing, on the idea that maybe by manipulating those we can avoid the problem.
Okay.
So it's not a complete solution, but I hope that helps somewhat.
Yeah, definitely. It helps.
Oh, good show. Yeah, we'll obviously, you know, check back. You and I are pairing later on today, so we'll definitely get to the bottom of it there, if not, if you haven't moved on from it yourself. But yes, so that was an interesting little play with the debugger. Michael, yeah, sorry for not getting to you since you'd arrived after we sort of finished the Scrum, but it sounds like, are you blocked then on something in website 1?
Maybe, but I probably can fix it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, very happy to look at it briefly now. I can kind of give you another few minutes, but I should go and make some tea and do a bit of shed work before my next pairing session. But yeah, that's a really important feature, the adding the required login. But yeah, do you want to just show us what it is that you're stuck on?
Here's the well, so if you remember, we basically had them redirect to the sign-in page when they're not signed in. And then I fixed this. I believe I fixed this. So now the sign-in helper method first checks whether they're
already on the page or not.
Yeah, before.
Okay. That makes good sense.
Jump to declaration. Well, anyway, so yeah, so it checks that first, and then okay, this is yeah. See here, it's visit this unless.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So we still have the issue that it's like remembering that it was on the sign-in page.
Oh, okay, I see. Like, it's like
the previous thing before it reached this. I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess it's like if it gets redirected to the sign-in page, then
we've never
the app remembers that the previous thing that you were on was the sign-in page.
Right.
Right. And so that previous URL ends up being the sign-in page rather than what we wanted, which is like wherever you were before you tried to sign in.
Right. So there's this thing they're saying on Devise called storable location or something. That's supposed to help cure this.
Okay.
That's what they're saying on their wiki.
Yeah. That sounds sensible. And so adding that is then tricky?
It could be, because it could have a knock-on effect. Yeah.
Yeah, and also we've got our own, I guess, hacked together store location thing. Yeah. Yes, it's yeah. Yeah, I hear that. So I guess you're not particularly blocked per se. You've just like encountered an issue which is like, okay, this is going to require pulling in another thing, and it could have lots of nasty knock-on stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Well, I send you positive energy, and yeah, we can I'll definitely be available on other scrums to kind of get into some of the side effects. I mean, if you open an experimental pull request, we can maybe do some GitHub polling backward and forward. I've been just doing that with Ben's pull request. All right, well, that's our scrum and exciting deep diving debug stuff. And so Will, yours was the last area of blockage, although we've kind of stretched our time out. Yeah, did we? Yeah, I guess I think as your suggestion about actually talking to one of the people invested who was already a seller. Fantastic.
Yeah, and also just what I was doing before, having a look at some other payment systems to see how they work. And it does sound as though they have similar problems actually. So that's encouraging, at least. I'm not
okay.
barking up the wrong tree. So I'm happy to continue. Yeah, and we're well beyond time now anyway. So
yeah,
no worries.
All right. Yeah, I look forward to checking with you in a future scrum. Great to see everybody. Yeah, there'll be more scrums and there'll be more fun. I am going to be off next week. If anybody wants to run scrums for me, they're more than welcome. But I think people taking a rest over the festive period is also a good idea. But yeah, see you all soon. Bye for now.
Cool.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers.